Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to the B&B San Antonio Spurs podcast with your host, Brian, and
Batu.
A weekly show where we recap the games and give our takes while looking into the near future. And a special thanks to Kawhi Leonard and the Wise Tree Company for sponsoring this episode. And as we jump into around the NBA, let's go to Batu for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, let's check out some Eastern Conference standings. We know the Detroit Pistons have to be talked about. The same team that lost 27 straight games just a few years ago. Here in the first seed, Cade Cunningham looking like a full superstar. The Knicks following them up, 6-3 record. Then we got the Heat, Cavs, Bucks, Bulls, 76ers, and Hawks to round out who's already in the playoffs. And the Raptors and Celtics are looking to fight for a play-in spot with the Magic and maybe the Hornets if we see a huge LaMelo Ball turnaround. But that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Eastern Conference is about what you'd expect. I mean, you knew the Cavs were going to be good. You knew the Knicks were going to be good.
For sure.
The Heat, I was a little uncertain about, but in a weak Eastern Conference, you got to expect them to be competing for a playoff spot.
Definitely with the way they've been shaping up. Got to talk about the Pacers. It's not going to be their year. Last year was their year.
Yeah, they had their chance, and unfortunately,
they'll get Hallie back at some point. But right now, the Eastern Conference and it's looking like a lot of the NBA runs through that Central Division with the Pistons, the Cavs, the Bucks, the Bulls, and not the Pacers this year, but the Pacers soon in the future. We know they're a great team. Now let's jump over to the West.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Thunder, about what we expect from the Thunder, coming in at 10-1 off their championship run. They're clearly the best team in basketball, and it's more about who's going to beat the Thunder than who the Thunder is going to beat.
Yep.
The Spurs, somewhat of a surprise, 8-2 start. I mean, you knew they were going to be good this year with Wembanyama and Castle, but even as a Spurs podcast and as a Spurs fan, it was definitely a surprise to see that they're doing so well. Followed by the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Trailblazers and Grizzlies for the play-in spot. And I mean, the Western Conference, it's about what you'd expect, but the West is crazy. I mean, I'm fine in the West. The Spurs are fine in the West, but
the Spurs are definitely fine in the West. With Wemby, they're fine for a while. Everyone's going to be scared of Wemby. But we got to talk about these Mavericks down here.
Yeah, 100%. Nico Harrison getting fired this morning.
Right. We knew when he made that trade, giving away Luka Doncic, that they were going to be in some dark, dark times. Some people were a little excited about maybe a win-now situation with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. And then he gets another get-out-of-jail-free card and gets Cooper Flag. But
with the injury,
hasn't been clicking.
Anthony Davis has always been an injury-riddled player. Kyrie has had his fair share of injuries himself. And Derek Lively's out as well. And speaking of injuries, let's jump around to the NBA injury report. We have to talk about the injuries in the NBA. Obviously, the big names like LeBron and LaMelo Ball going down.
We know guys like Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton that are not going to be here this year, which is not good for the NBA. We want to see those guys play. They're great ball players.
100%.
But when it comes to the Celtics and the Pacers, killed them right off.
Yeah, 100%.
Looking at a rough season for both of those teams.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if the Pacers have their own pick, but if they do, they're looking at a lottery pick, which could maybe give them that boost.
Definitely. Pair Tyrese up with a guy like Darren Peterson or AJ DeBanza, and the league needs to look out.
100%. All right, well, let's talk about those Spurs, man.
For sure.
What a game last night against the Chicago Bulls, who were sitting at about the 2 seed last night. And, I mean, coming into the second half, it was a really close game, 64-63. The Chicago Bulls were up by 1, and it was really a back-and-forth battle for a while, but then the Bulls started to pull away with it, and you kind of thought it was over. They were up about 12 with the start of the fourth quarter, and the Spurs, they kept fighting, man. They kept getting after it. Yeah, I mean, do you want to tell them about Wemby's performance at the end of the fourth?
Oh, yeah. All right, so the 38-point, 5 block and 12 rebound game from Wemby, 18 of those 38 points were in the fourth quarter. That's how you really take over. But we knew the Bulls were a great team coming into this game, but they were playing without their main guy. They went into that game without Josh Giddey. And it was a tough one for the Spurs until that fourth quarter. And they really pulled it out there at the end. But honestly, you know, the league is in this spot right now where anyone can beat anyone almost. And we're looking at Wemby potentially not being safe from that, because at the start of the season it looked like he really was, but
Yeah, absolutely. He seemed unstoppable, and then he got stopped. He had a 9-point
rough game
9-point
versus
outing,
Phoenix.
and it made you wonder, like, is Wemby really what he seems to be? Can he get stopped by a certain defense?
Is he human?
Is he human?
That is the question.
And I mean, looking at that game, everyone's has bad games, and I think as long as he keeps it where that game is an outlier, I think he's still got an MVP caliber season ahead of him, and I look forward to seeing what he can do. Paired up with Steph Castle, who's looked like an all-star this year, averaging 7.7 assists, and he's just putting up great numbers and all. When he's on the court, he just seems unstoppable. He goes to the basket with such confidence and such finesse. And we got to talk about De'Aaron Fox coming back too.
For sure, comes right back and takes the mantle right away. Shows us he's still De'Aaron Fox. He's had no problem getting readjusted to the new offense, and he's honestly really looking like the De'Aaron Fox I know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Spurs have so much depth this year, man. I mean, Julian Champagnie coming off the bench now. Keldon Johnson, who is the heart and soul of this team, even with his 15 to 20 minutes a game, he plays his heart out. And Luke Cornett down the fourth quarter stretch had 12. He had about 8 in a row, willing the Spurs back into that game, letting Wemby take over and taking a lot of the pressure off of him. It was truly a great watch.
Definitely.
All right, as we come to the end of our episode here, let's talk about the Spurs' upcoming schedule. I mean, as a Warriors fan next to me, what do you have to say about the upcoming games?
We know that the Warriors are in this spot right now where they've been in this spot for a little while now, having a guy like Steph Curry, but not really being able to put together what he needs around him. They're in the spot where any given night, Steph can go beat you, but also any given night they could lose to anybody. And the Spurs are just such a tough team, such a deep team. As a Warriors fan, I would not pick my Warriors in either of these games, but they're pretty close to each other. We know this season's NBA schedule has been crazy. These players are definitely super unhappy, and it's going to have an effect. It's going to have an effect on Wemby's body because he's used to playing very little minutes. He started his career as a huge minute restriction guy, and now he's out here taking the whole league by storm. But he's out there a lot, and we'll see what that really looks like. But overall, I'm going to take the Spurs in both of those games. What about you?
Yeah, I think they're going to split it 1-1. I think the Warriors will take the first one. The Spurs will take the next one. But I think the Spurs are riding a little too hot for what their projection, their outlook is. I think they're a great team. I think they've got some lucky wins against some good teams. But I think they're due for a reality check from the Warriors. But then they'll bounce back.
Yeah, a reality check is definitely in the cards and definitely could be happening soon. But also, you never know. We could see these Spurs roll all
Absolutely.
the way.
They could just keep going.
We could see these Spurs roll all the way past the Thunder even. It all depends on Wemby.
Yeah.
If Wemby can stay healthy, if the Spurs as a unit can stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan Harper has been injured for a while, and he looked incredible the first few games before that calf strain.
They've got all these hidden gems in the closet that they can just take out. And honestly, I see them. I don't want to say anyone's a playoff lock in this West.
Yeah.
But I see the Spurs as a playoff lock.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't see them not making the playoffs this year. And I can't say the same for so many other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of those seasons where they need to get their playoff loss out of the way, get some experience in the playoffs, so they can start really competing for championships. I mean, as much as I'd like to say they're a championship team this year, no one on that team besides NBA champion Luke Cornett have really had that opportunity to go out in the playoffs and get after it and succeed. But as we wrap this one up, I'd like to thank you guys all for listening. It's a great time as always. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.